Hello, I'm Anthony Hobbs, and as you've probably gathered, this review concerns Red Dwarf, more specifically Red Dwarf 1, Episode 4, Waiting for God. But, okay, the more observant people will notice this is not what Red Dwarf the spaceship looks like in Season 1. But, well, the thing is, I wanted to get a Season 1, but it wasn't available. So I've got this one. This is more or less what the spaceship looks like in Red Dwarf 8. They reshaped it, gave it a reboot, and then I believe they reshaped the main spaceship again in Season 10. So, in other words, but it is still, more or less, it is their spaceship, the main one. Did they reshape it, or is it because it was blown up and then had to be rebuilt? Well, it gets even more confusing, because this is what the spaceship looks like in the digitally remastered version of Season 1, so that's even more confusing. Okay, but either way, the spaceship looks more or less like this. Here it is on its display stand. That's like a meteorite or two giant asteroids. Part of the ship is made of them. Instead of one big booster like originally, it has lots of little engines at the back. But it has this massive radar thing there. It's very red, mostly coloured red. And I don't know if you can see it, but yes, Red Dwarf written in tiny letters there. Because at the beginning of each episode, a man is smaller than the letter F. So that gives you a sense of the scale of this spaceship. And as I said before, I first saw this when it was brand new, the first season of Red Dwarf. I thought the Red Dwarf was really impressive. At the beginning of each episode, there's a shot of the spaceship going past the camera to give you a sense of scale. This thing is absolutely enormous, half a mile wide and 5 miles long, an enormous tanker, the Jupiter Mining Corporation ship, the Red Dwarf, I thought it was impressive because it was a massive spaceship. And I also thought it was impressive because it was real. A real spaceship 5 miles long. How cool is that? Of course, it isn't real at all. It's a model with a lot of clever special effects. But I was 7. The special effects convinced me, that it was real, a real spaceship. And secondly, in my defence, until about a year later, I hadn't learned about inventions at school. I didn't know what had and hadn't been invented yet. So yes, I was none the wiser. I thought it was a real spaceship, And, well, it's time of innocence, time of, 7-year-olds not as observant as a grown-up, But, when I found out that, no, that couldn't possibly be real because we don't have the technology to make such things. So, the best, most advanced space we can make, send a man to the moon or send a space probe to Jupiter. But that's as far as our technology goes, Anyway, this episode called Waiting for God, and of course it's a pun on Waiting for Godot. There was a sitcom called Waiting for God. Anyway, I've never seen the play Waiting for Godot, but I know of it. All I know is it's about waiting for something that's never going to happen. And that theme comes up in this episode, Now, Red Dwarf Season 1, it's mostly episodic, in that the next episode has nothing to do with this episode. Not always, though. No, sometimes there is a connection between this and a previous episode. And in the opening sequence, Holly, the ship's computer that drives the ship, he says, in the last episode, Lister lied about passing the exam. He has not been promoted at all. So someone lying about passing an exam, that shows how truly exciting life can be on board this ship. So it can get very, very boring. They have a long, long journey to do, and so they make these silly distractions to make it less boring, Anyway, speaking of the theme of ignorance, the cat, at one point he says to Rimmer, "You can't have my shiny thing." And was like, "What shiny thing?" "The shiny thing that I found, and it's a yo-yo. Here it is, I hold it up like this, and the string's down here. You put it the other way around, and here's the clever bit. The string is in the place where the shiny bit used to be." And Rimmer says, "Oh, that's absolutely fascinating. Oh, you haven't got the slightest idea what it's for, have you?" So, ignorance, yes, the theme of ignorance, Anyway, Lister badly wants to know if the cat is the only one of the humanoid cat race left, where have all the others gone? If there were thousands of them before, where have they all gone? Why doesn't he just ask the cat? Well, because the cat has total lack of interest, that's why. He's far more fascinated with looking at himself in the mirror. He's vain even for a cat, A bit of a moron, you won't get answers out of him. So instead, Lister reads a book, an ancient book written by the cat people. He finds several of them, and one of them, it seems to be like a kind of Bible in the history of their people. And there's pictures inside, a picture of Cloister the Stupid, who's frozen in time. He goes, no, it's not Cloister, it's Lister. I am Lister, yeah. Why did they call him Cloister? Well, because in ancient times when people couldn't read or write, they passed something down through word of mouth. And every generation it sounds slightly different, or every few generations. So Lister became Cloister the Stupid instead of Lister the vending machine repairman. That doesn't sound anything like the Stupid. But anyway, and they have to go to the promised land, Fushal. There's no such place. It's Fiji, yeah. Anyway, Lister tells the cat, I am Cloister. I wasn't frozen in time in stasis, yeah. And the cat says, if what you're saying is true, Cloister is another name for God. That's what I'm saying. I am your God. And the cat says, okay, if you're a god, turn my breakfast cereal into a woman. Yeah, he goes, I'm serious. So am I. Yeah. I remember getting confused at the age of 7. Is Lister truly a god? This is really bizarre. I never saw this coming, yeah. Then when I saw this episode again 6 years later, well, it's half true. Lister is a god, but not in the conventional sense. No, he did indeed accidentally do something that started a whole new species, so created new life, but he doesn't have any magical powers. No, he's just an ordinary man, yeah. And this episode was particularly significant because at the time, when I was 13 and a half, so when I saw it the second time, I was starting to question religion. Are any of the religions right? Or are all of them wrong? Yeah, so it was perfectly timed in that respect, yeah. And you have to be diplomatic about this. You can't make fun of religion. Well, you can, but you're going to upset a lot of people. But in science fiction, if you make fun of a religion that doesn't exist, oh, that's different. You can't upset anyone because the religion never existed in the first place. So Lister finds out, he gets Holly the computer to translate for him, because, you see, a bit of backstory here, Rimmer deems Lister to be the slobbiest entity in the entire universe. But he's not completely hapless. No, Lister does have a plan. He has an ambition. Even before they got stranded in space, he had this ambition to breed horses in Fiji, have a little farm, and then start a snack bar with a golden sausage and a donut, selling hot dogs and donuts, and you wear a novelty hat, and it could be a really successful snack bar. Could go international, yeah. So yeah, he does have some ambition, yeah. And anyway, because he was in stasis for so many centuries, while that was going on, the cats would have a fight over the novelty hat. Should it be red or should it be blue? And lots of fights. Hundreds of people were killed in holy wars, yeah. Sad, really, isn't it? And Lister says, yes, that is very sad. The hat was supposed to be green. So when two different tribes fight each other, a religious war over how you should do the religion properly, they go, should the hat be red? Should it be blue? One of us must be right, so let's fight. One of us must be right. Or both of them are wrong. And then finally, the cat, or most of the cat people, all evacuate, got on their equivalent of Noah's Ark, or to Noah's Ark, because they followed this great map to the stars, and it was 2 vests and 7 socks. And Lister says, that's my laundry list. They haven't gone to Fushal at all. No, Fiji is the place to go, and that's on Earth, so they've gone in completely the wrong directions, yeah. But not literally all of them went. Obviously, the cat stayed behind, and we find out a humanoid cat that's a cat priest. And Lister finds him by chance. The cat finds him, but doesn't tell him what he's found. No, he doesn't find discovery particularly interesting. No, he doesn't bother telling anyone anything. So, yes, he's silly and ignorant, doesn't appreciate the scale of the situation, yeah. Anyway, Lister finds him, and the cat priest is dying, so he gives him some words of comfort, says, you are going to an afterlife, you're going to get a 5-star hotel, yes, in the afterlife, you're going to be great. You've been a real dedicated fan, a real good follower, yeah. And then the cat priest, who's at death's door, he says, my hat! Oh no, I burned my sacred hat. And Lister says, no you haven't, and with some sort of trick, gives him this sacred hat back, perfectly intact. And the priest is so happy and says, this is the happiest day of my life. And then he dies. Oh dear. Well, at least he was happy, but yes, that's very sad. And then Lister tells Rimmer that he feels sorry, feels awful about this religion. It went horribly wrong. I want to explain to them, and then they wouldn't have fought each other. There wouldn't have been holy wars. Rimmer is not interested in the least in the fate or the extinction of the cat race. He's preoccupied with something far more important. Earlier in the story, they have a religious chat. Do you believe in God? And he goes, no, I don't believe in God. I believe aliens exist. Aliens that can give me a new body, yeah. And don't you think aliens exist? And Lister's like, why would I think aliens exist? He says, well, because the pyramids built thousands of years ago, how did they move such gigantic blocks of stone without modern technology? And Lister says they had whips, Rimmer, huge whips. There's nothing supernatural or alien about that. Human beings built the pyramids, not aliens. And Rimmer says, all right, well, what about the Bermuda Triangle then? Can you answer that to me? And he says, no, I'll give you that one. Yes, that is a genuine mystery. How could a song like that ever become a hit? Yeah. Then afterwards, there's an object floating in space, and it's not a rock. No, it's not a rock. Normally, it's just rocks. There's no god, no aliens, just this small crew and a load of rocks floating in space. Well, this time it isn't a rock. It's a metal object, possibly a vehicle. And Rimmer's like, it's a pod, an alien pod. Oh, this is going to be great, yeah. But it has to be put in quarantine first. Anyway, Rimmer says, just imagine it. Aliens, they can give me a physical body. It's going to be, that'll be amazing. But that's just the beginning. They can make a hyperdrive to take us back to Earth. Or any other planet we want to go to for that matter. It's going to be great, yeah. The quarantine period isn't over yet, but Lister goes in anyway. And doesn't care too much for breaking the rules. And he recognises it. It's a garbage pod. And he says, Holly, did Rimmer ever work in waste disposal? No, he didn't. So he doesn't recognise it. He doesn't realise all it is a garbage pod. Why have you told him it's an alien spaceship? Well, it's a laugh, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So anyway, Lister thinks, okay, we'll leave this mystery for Rimmer until further notice. And then when they're asleep in their bunks, Rimmer says, Lister? Lister? Lister! What? Are you awake? Yes. I know, I can't sleep either. It's the excitement, not knowing what's going to happen. Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, it's garbage. It's not garbage. It's true. It's really going to happen. A space pod. I'll get to navigate, to be a great space navigator and everything. All the things I want to make me happy. All of my answers will come true. Yeah. Well, Lister's answers about the cat people come through. He finds out what happened to all the others. Why did the cat stay behind? Or is it because he's just stupid? Or the stupider ones were left behind and not fit for a journey like this? Yeah. Anyway, he got his answers. He found out what became of the race. And he wishes he could meet them and explain that all those holy wars were unnecessary. And then after that, Rimmer finally gets his wish, gets to see what's inside. He can't touch it because he's a hologram. Lister has a look inside and finds a rotting dead chicken. It was these alien beings, these space warriors. They must have looked something like a chicken. Nobody explains it to him, but he works it out. It was a garbage pod all along, completely useless, yes. And he is disappointed. So disappointed, in fact, he interrupts the end credits. When they go up, he goes, it's a garbage pod. They go up, the credits stop again. It's a smeging garbage pod! Yeah, okay. So whether aliens exist or not, garbage and waste, refuse, is of note. It certainly can't build them a new body, put it that way, yes. So yes, this one raised some interesting religious issues, but it was also very funny. Like, to Rimmer, Lister is a slob, a no-hoper. But to the cat people, he was a god. Yeah, okay, he created them by chance, but nevertheless, he did create them. So, one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. Okay, that's enough for now. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.